Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are doing well. And this morning, I want to talk a little bit about a Seahawks player that is supposedly about to come off the PUP list. And it's a guy who I was not expecting to come off the PUP list anytime soon. And he was a guy that I didn't expect to play very much, if at all, for the Seahawks this season. It's Jordyn Brooks. Couple days ago, we got the update from Carroll that Jordyn Brooks is really close to coming off the PUP. And I'm assuming, again, he doesn't specify a timetable, he doesn't specify a date, but the implication is this guy's going to be ready to play football very soon, and there's a good chance we may even see him week one against the Rams. Now, I've already commented about the supposed timetable for his recovery after he got injured last season. It was supposed to be a year-long injury, which would have put him out basically the whole season. Instead, it looks like it's going to be 7, 8, maybe 9 months at most. So that's pretty miraculous, and I don't know how it happened. I guess he's really good at healing. I guess he had a really good rehab, really good recovery. But I'm not really here to talk about that because that kind of is what it is. Either it happens or it doesn't, and it sounds like it is going to happen. But I want to talk about Jordyn Brooks as a player a little bit because, quite honestly, I trash Jordyn Brooks a lot. I do. I talk mostly negatively about Jordyn Brooks as a player, and I don't really regret that. I don't think he's very good. I think there are massive gaping holes in his game that prevent him from being the elite player we were hoping we were getting when we drafted him. I just don't think that he warranted the investment we made into him. And if we decide to give him a big contract extension this season or next offseason or whatever, I really don't think that's warranted. But I want to put that to the side for a minute here. I want to focus in on the stuff that makes Jordyn Brooks not a bad player, because there is some stuff there, and I don't want that to get lost. I like nuance. I think that, especially when it comes to a player like Jordyn Brooks, people want to commit to an extreme here. I see comments sometimes saying that people think that Jordyn Brooks is one of the worst players in the league. And then there are the people who say he's one of the best linebackers in the league because he has some of the most tackles in the league. I don't think either statement is anywhere close to being true. And what I'm going to try to go into in this video is, while Jordyn Brooks isn't that good of a player, he may not even be a good player, he is a decent player, and he's better than the guys behind him on this team. And at the end of the day, whatever you think of Jordyn Brooks, we are a better team with him than without him. Because without him, that pushes guys like John Radigan, Vi Jones, and BBK into roles that are bigger, when Jordyn Brooks is better than those guys right now. He just is. Now, that could change. Jones could make a big step forward this offseason and end up becoming an surprisingly good linebacker. But as of right now, with all the information that we have, Jordyn Brooks, when healthy, is better than those guys. And there's a good chance he's better than Devin Bush. And I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. The only inside linebacker who's definitely better than Brooks on this team is Bobby Wagner. So we are a better team with him healthy and able to play than not. If you go over to PFF's run defense grades from last season, the 2022 regular season, and you sort so that every linebacker, these are linebackers who played at least 50% of 537 run defense snaps. So basically, you're looking at something like 268, 269 run snaps minimum. And you sort by the various criteria that they utilize, you get a pretty clear picture on Jordyn Brooks, because it's not just the tackle numbers, right? We know that Jordyn Brooks has some of the most tackles in the league. He is one of the most prolific tacklers in the league and has been for a little while now. He almost led the league in tackles last year, even though he missed about a game and a half at the end of the season. If he didn't miss those games, he probably leads the league in tackles or comes very, very close. Even missing that game and a half, you can see here that on running plays, he was 6th in the league with 63 tackles on run plays. So we know he's a prolific tackler, but that is not the end of the story here. I want to look at a few more things to make this very clear. Whatever you think of Jordyn Brooks as an all-around player, as a run defender, he is legitimate. He is legitimately a good run defender. If you sort by number of stops, and by the way, stops are tackles that are constituted as a failure for the offense. Basically, it means a good, meaningful, valuable tackle. Jordyn Brooks tied for first in the entire NFL in stops. That's far more important than just the raw tackle number. And if you sort by stop percentage, he's not at the top, but he is top 5, tied with Quincy Williams of the Jets. Almost 10% stop percentage. So if you slice it by those numbers, the more advanced metrics, you can see Jordyn Brooks is good against the run regardless. And even this stat likes him too. AVDT, which stands for average depth of tackle. So basically, this takes a look at how good you are at stopping runs for short gains. It takes the average of the number of yards gained on plays where you got the tackle and comes up with a number. You can see that the best is Zaven Collins at 1.6, although he doesn't have that many tackles overall, so it's a little less meaningful for him. And you can see that the worst numbers belong to guys down here, nearly 5 yards, Kenneth Murray Jr., Jalen Smith, guys like that. So Jordyn Brooks isn't necessarily one of the best in this category, but he's still well above average at 3.1 yards allowed on average per tackle he makes on a run play, which is 12th, tied for 12th in the league. So not elite, but still quite good. So you put all these numbers together in a blender. Tackles, stops, average depth of tackle. You can even throw missed tackle percentage in here, by the way. And it's not like Jordyn Brooks is one of the best tacklers on this list, but he's still, again, I want to stress this, about average, a little above average at 9%. That's pretty workable and pretty comparable with some of the other top linebackers on this list. Guys like Alex Singleton, who was graded out phenomenally well last year as a linebacker for the Broncos. Lavonte David, considered to be one of the best linebackers in the league. So however you want to slice it, PFF paints a relatively clear picture here that Jordyn Brooks has obvious value as a really good run defender. In fact, if you want to sort by tackles again, you can see that a lot of the top guys have missed tackle percentages that are significantly higher than Jordyn Brooks' 9%. So there's nothing here that indicates that Jordyn Brooks is an out-and-out bad player in this area. In fact, he's very good, borderline elite. And if you even want to go all the way down the line and take a look at the number of penalties committed, he had one all of last season. Almost everybody on this list had at least a couple. So in this category, in this element of the game, Jordyn Brooks is legitimately very good. And I don't want my relative lukewarmness on this player to take away from that. I don't want anyone to think that I think he's terrible just because I think he's terrible in an area of the game. And don't get me wrong, that's a big deal. I want to be very clear about this. Run defense, running game in general, means less and less with each NFL season that goes by, it seems like. And what you see when a player like Jordyn Brooks is the crucial key player on your defense is what we often see with this defense, where you get the stops on the run plays, but then you get to 3rd and 8 and you give up the first down because on that 3rd and 8 you can't cover your man. And that's a real thing. That is definitely a real thing. There's a reason why sometimes we play these teams in Seattle, not so much last year, but previous years. We saw teams basically decide we're not even going to try to run the ball on you because we don't need to. We can just pass on you. You can't stop it. Why would we try to run the ball when we know you're going to stop us and we know you can't stop this other thing we can do? And that was true even when we had Bobby Wagner as our primary linebacker. I remember 2020. We had teams that would roll into games against Seattle and just decide, why even bother running the ball? They're going to stop us, and we know they can't stop this other thing. And that's deflating. But here's the thing about this year for the Seahawks. If Jordyn Brooks comes back and manages to play this whole season, which it sounds like is becoming a realistic possibility, then you have to consider how he's going to be used. We know he is now behind Bobby Wagner on the depth chart, but we're running this 3-4 defense. I mean, it's not that simple, but there's going to be a good amount of 3-4 in this defense. So you got Bobby and Brooks out there on neutral downs at the same time. And then you get to your third down, your passing downs, where teams are going to be more likely to want to throw the ball on you, going to want to convert those third downs. I can't remember what the exact percentage is, but teams throw the ball on a pretty large majority of their third downs across the entire NFL for very obvious reasons. Supposedly, we're going to run a lot of 3-3-5 this year. 3-3-5, there's only one inside linebacker on the field, and it's not going to be Jordyn Brooks. It's going to be Bobby Wagner. Now, Bobby Wagner has had years where he's been very good in coverage, years where he's been very bad in coverage. He's had years where he just wasn't put in coverage situations as much, but he's definitely better than Jordyn Brooks. He's definitely more capable of holding up in that role than Jordyn Brooks. No doubt in my mind, for sure, no problem. Jordyn Brooks is, even at Bobby's advanced age, nowhere near as good as Wagner in coverage. So suddenly, that problem in Brooks' game won't matter quite as much. He's going to be out there, supposedly, on more neutral downs, on the more typical running downs, running the ball situations. He's not going to get put in those pass coverage situations as much. So if he can be out there more often for running plays, where he does actually have a very positive impact on this team, where he does actually play very well, that can change everything for Jordyn Brooks. Get him off the field in coverage situations, get him off the field on third down, those passing downs, and we'll notice the positives with him a lot more. So that's what I wanted to say about Jordyn Brooks today. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks. Just wanted to clear the air here a little bit.